What actually happened to the planets the Witness stole? And now that the Witness is defeated, why aren't they back? Today we discuss where the planets went and the mysteries of their disappearance in darkness. So let's first start by stating the obvious here. The planets were removed a while back for a couple of reasons. The main reason most likely was the size of the game. The planets were put in the content vault, allowing for new content and experiences and lessening the size of Destiny 2 overall. I'm assuming Bungie then came up with a story reason that went along with it. The Witness and the Darkness took the planets away from us. So the reason they still might not be back development-wise is just that. They're in the content vault, things would need to be updated, and the game is much smaller without them. Maybe they return someday, maybe, but that's our answer currently. Lore-wise, now what actually happened with the planets? And now that the Witness is gone, could they make a return? Mars and Titan have returned to us since, so what about the others? This all started back around Season of the Worthy, when word of the Black Fleet's arrival would spread around the system. By word of mouth from civilians in the city. And in places like Golden Age Warmind vaults, the Guardian could witness the Black Fleet's position as it made its way further into Sol System. At the end of arrivals, the Traveler would unleash a wave of light as the pyramids would halt above 4 of humanity's celestial bodies. Io, Titan, Mercury, and Mars were gone. Here's what Zavala told us.
People of the last city, humanity has endured a devastating blow. Vanguard scouts have confirmed that Io, Mars, Titan, and Mercury have disappeared. We don't know why. We have lost contact with Deputy Commander Sloan and Jensen Scribe Ashamir. We are deploying Guardians to all corners of the system to find answers. And with those answers, we will form a plan.
There's not much to tell. Mercury, Mars, Io, and Titan are gone.
So what exactly happened is still somewhat of a mystery, but in Immolant Part 1, the lore from Bungie.net, Osiris speaks about the planets that were taken. The orbital readings of Sol's bodies are intact, gravity unaltered. But the system is gutted, 4 globes plucked from the skies. His eyes sink into the maw of eternal depth lurking in Io's place, an anomaly of darkness. Osiris stares as if looking into the pyre flames of a funeral, the corpse's uncanny familiarity, a stranger you half remember. There is only the gouge of Io's absence, a reckoning whispered and left. Saturn grieves the loss of Titan. The cerulean jewel that once was had sunken into the gullet of the abyss. In its place, an anomaly, dark and rimmed in gravitational lensing. Osiris tears his eyes away and fixate on its sibling cavity, a swath cut through Saturn's rings by Oryx's blade during the Taken War. Within the rings, the dreadnought sails in solidarity with the anomaly's orbit, whispering back in harmony. "Do you hear that?" Osiris asks, turning to Sagira. He turns the ship's scanning array toward the anomaly. Like the tones Vance described, from the spires and then the pyramids, it was coming from the anomaly that replaced Io as well. "I don't hear anything, but I can feel it." Sagira cringes and constricts her shell flaps. "Like a shiver down my metaphorical spine." Osiris lowers his gaze. He does not want to see their failure or believe the Kratos tree, the forest, all the Golden Age treasures so many had died to preserve were gone. All their victories, usurped and meaningless in the face of the enemy. For all their power, all their heroism, they had invited this fate. And when it came, they were not prepared. Phobos and Deimos orbit the grave of Mars where a rolling depth festers, hungry and reaching out to the little moons caught within its influence. The Warmind buckled, and yet somehow it ekes out existence in hiding, a survivor again. So there's a little backstory on what exactly happened to the planets. It describes that Sol's bodies, these planets are still intact, their gravity unaltered, but they've sort of been plucked away, an anomaly of darkness in their place, this gravitational mass of darkness. The gravity unaltered, it makes sense because Phobos and Deimos still orbit this gravitational anomaly on Mars as if it was still there. To me, it seems like the Witness sort of just plucked them out of our reality to inspect them. And in fact, in Witch Queen, that's what we learn it was sort of doing with Mars. Searching through humanity's golden age and time fractures, possibly looking for information. Information likely on the Veil and where it was. The Veil went missing during the collapse and the Witness and Darkness pushed away, so it makes sense that the golden age could give them some answers.
So, it's not the darkness that's responsible for the planet's mass abduction, but an entity behind it. The Witness.
When Savathun was in Osiris's body, she also spoke about these darkness anomalies from the Glycon. I believe Keitel did as well.
It recounts a descent into the anomaly. Gravitational oscillations broke and reformed the Glycon many times over. It is as if every permutation of the ship's existence collided in one space.
In research logs, the entity's voice emanates from the grave of Mars. The Scorn babble to the void, and attentively await response. Our Emperor's vision is at hand. Tomorrow we pierce the anomaly's veil. We are ready.
So in Witch Queen, Mars would return for that reason. In Savathun's Two Truths, Two Lies, she mentions that she returned Mars. Now I'm not sure if this was exactly confirmed, but we know the Witness took them away. I don't think we have confirmation on how Mars exactly returned, and same thing for Titan, which came back in Season of the Deep.
On Neptune, we learned that a key to defeating the Witness lies hidden away on Titan. Now we know why the Witness's fleet came there when it first arrived. Deputy Commander Sloan held the line on Titan to the bitter end, right up until the Witness took it. Then, we lost all contact. But now, just when we need it most, Titan has returned. And when it did, we were greeted with something we could have never predicted.
To any Guardians listening, this is Deputy Commander Sloan requesting emergency support.
Savathun also told us that we'll get the power to move worlds, which we kind of did in the Root of Nightmares raid, but you have to question if that's actually canon or not. So it's possible the Guardian was partly responsible for it. Maybe Asa had something to do with it when it comes to Titan, and even Xivu Arath's presence and darkness on that world. In the Final Shapes Entelechy lore book from the Collector's Edition, there is some more lore that talks about how the Witness takes and analyzes these planets. The Noesis, a species that was destroyed by the Witness in this book, says this: planets stolen from space, ripe fruit plucked from orbit, structures dissected and reassembled by thousand-fingered hands, anchors and salves unraveled into first principles, sectioned into water-thin slices. So currently where we sit, Mars and Titan are back, but that leaves two that remain in Mercury and Io. In that same lore book, Io said, I understand that Mercury was a scorched wasteland before the Great Machine's arrival. When it had finished, humans could walk unprotected on its surface. What wonders the Great Machine can work. I can only hope that Mercury will return from the Witness's clutches, released as Titan was, so that I may see it for myself. So confirmation that Titan was returned from the Witness's clutches, but what about Mercury? The Witness is dead. Some of the memories and dead species, including the Witness itself, may exist in some of these echoes, but in my mind, nobody has current control over the planets. So it's either they can't be released because it's something only the Witness could do, or we're just waiting for somebody to learn how to do it. Again, it kind of circles back around to that gameplay development aspect of it. It would be cool to see Io return, but for what purpose? Sandbox-wise, they can change up the entire location, add new activities, maybe a revamped Pyramidian strike with Asher Mir's return. But there sort of has to be a reason we would go there, and with Frontiers coming out next year, it seems we're going to new places which most players want. So should the planets return, I don't know, but lore-wise it definitely seems possible at this point. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like it, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.